Good morning, friends. Welcome everybody on another session with me, Varun Rao, on AP Junction. And ఇవాళ 18th అండి డేట్ అండ్ ఇవాళ నుంచి I think we only have 1.5 months left for the APPSC Group 1. So all those people who are preparing seriously out there, I think it's time that you start revising and you start solving question papers. So in this video, we will be talking about the history of Vijayanagara dynasty, and I really hope that you enjoy the presentation that's being made out of passion to help at least a few people who are preparing seriously out there. This is me, Varun Rao, and I am also aspiring to clear Class 1 service like you someday. And I've already cleared my CDS and some other minor government exams, but then I'm working as a developer because I am looking for some government Class 1 job of an administrative nature. So that's the reason I'm still trying to clear some other Group 1 or some other exams. So that's all about me, guys. And I also have another YouTube channel which is Tech Tablet, on which I post videos related to technology. So let us begin with this session. And the decision that you have made to appear for this kind of an exam in itself is a very heavy and a huge decision, because అండర్స్టాండింగ్ సో మెనీ సబ్జెక్ట్స్, ఇన్ని సబ్జెక్ట్స్ ని చదివి ఇంతమందిని దాటుకొని ఇంత కాంపిటీషన్ ని ఎదుర్కొని కమింగ్ ఇన్ టు ద పబ్లిక్ ఫోరం టు stand or to be the support for some people is not a minor job. So that is why this exam should also be given the hard work that it requires. Let's give it what it takes, and I'm sure it will give us what we want, right? So all the very best on your journey. So this is the map of the Vijayanagara Empire. Okay, the lower extent of entire South India. మొత్తం సౌత్ ఇండియా మీద ఆల్మోస్ట్ we see విజయనగర ఎంపైర్ వాళ్ళు రూల్ చేయడం అంటూ జరిగింది. నౌ వెన్ వి టాక్ ఆఫ్ సమ్ ఫైండింగ్స్ ఫ్రమ్ ది ఇంటర్నెట్ లో కూడా మీకు చాలా మెటీరియల్స్ అవైలబుల్ ఉన్నాయండి, జస్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ ది ఇమేజెస్ ఓన్లీ. మీరు ఎక్కడైనా అలా ట్రావెల్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు, లేకపోతే వాష్రూమ్ లో కూర్చున్నప్పుడు, లేకపోతే థియేటర్స్, ఏదైనా బోరింగ్ మూవీ, ఎనీ ప్లేస్, బస్ ఎక్కడైనా కూర్చున్నప్పుడు, ఇఫ్ యూ జస్ట్ డోంట్ వాంట్ టు రీడ్ ఎ పీడిఎఫ్, యూ వాంట్ టు రీడ్ సంథింగ్ విచ్ ఇస్ లైట్, ఇట్లాంటి ఇమేజెస్ మీరు చూసుకోవచ్చు. కొన్ని అన్ అకాడమీ ఉన్నాయి, డిఫరెంట్ డిఫరెంట్ అకాడమీస్, డిఫరెంట్ డిఫరెంట్ సోర్సెస్ ఉన్నాయి. So the capital was Vijayanagara, and the language, as we knew, they had multiple languages: Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, and others. They were Hindu by religion. Okay, and the Vijayanagara dynasty, it was broken into four parts. It's a conglomeration of four boundaries. Okay, or four, not boundaries, four dynasties basically. It is Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva, and Aravidu. ఈ నాలుగు కలిపితే విజయనగర డైనాసిటీ అవుతుందండి. ఓకే, అండ్ దెన్ ద సోర్సెస్ ఆర్ వెరీడ్. యూ హ్యావ్ ఆర్కియలాజికల్ ఎవిడెన్సెస్, యూ హ్యావ్ హిస్టరీ, యూ హ్యావ్ బుక్స్, యూ హ్యావ్ ఇన్స్క్రిప్షన్స్, యూ హ్యావ్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ థింగ్స్ త్రూ విచ్ యూ క్యాన్ understand what their history is. Now you have Krishna Devaraya's Amukta Malyada, a book ఏదైతే ఉందో, and then you also have Ganga Devi's book, which is Madhura Vijayam, and you have Alasani Peddana's Manu Charitram. All these talk about their lifestyle, their social pattern, and also their political structure. You also have some travelers from different countries who visited the court of different kings during the Vijayanagaran dynasty. We'll see about them and we'll talk about them. Some of them, as mentioned here, are Moroccan traveler Ibn Battuta, Venetian traveler Niccolo di Conti, Persian traveler Abdul Razak, and Portuguese traveler Domingo Paes were one of the few people who left some valuable information on Vijayanagaran Empire or Vijayanagaran dynasty and the society during that period of time. And even talking about Krishna Devaraya, he was one of the greatest rulers of the entire clan. Now we'll talk about him when we go into the slide in the next, in the upcoming slide. Okay, so to begin with, Vijayanagara Empire, they started their rule in 1336. Okay, and they went on for a good time. Okay, it's not that they ruled only for 50 or 20 years. These people, they ruled for quite a lot of time, almost 2-3 centuries varaku. They were able to rule very prominently. Then it slowly weakened. Okay, so the prominent languages that they spoke were Telugu, Kannada, and Sanskrit. We see that Vijayanagara Empire has had a great influence on all these languages. Now you have four major dynasties. They are Sangam dynasty, Saluva, Tuluva, and Aravidu dynasty. Nalugu dynasty is చాలా important. Now when we talk of the sources of history, as we said, You have different people who wrote books on different things, like Ibn Battuta. He came from Morocco. Niccolo di Conti came from, he is a Venetian. Abdul Razak, Persia. Domingo Pace, Portuguese. Amukta Malida was written by Krishna Deva Raya himself. Okay, and this book that you have, it talks about the political scenario at that point of time. Then you have Manu Charitram. Manu Charitram is written by Alasani Peddanna. It talks about the social scenario at that point of time. You have Madhura Vijayam by Ganga Devi, and then you have Salubhyudayam by Rajanatha Dindima. So these are the different books that we have available from Vijayanagaram Empire, and different writers and authors from different places. And ఇంతలో ఫారిన్ ఆథర్స్ రాసిన బుక్స్ పేర్లు మీరు ప్లీజ్ కమెంట్లో కింద రాయండి. Now we'll talk about the founders of Saluva, Sangam and Tuluva dynasty. Sangam dynasty, which is the actual, it was founded by Harihara and Bukka. Saluva was founded by Saluva Narasimha, and Tuluva was founded by Veera Narasimha. And some famous rulers in Sangam are Devaraya II, while in Tuluva you have Krishna Devaraya himself. So now let's talk about the administration of Vijayanagara Empire. So here four things are very important when you talk of their mode of administration. The first thing, king is the most important. He is the central figure of administration. Law of succession was hereditary. Father tarvat mali koduke king avagadu. Central administration, it was headed by prime minister with a council of ministers who were to aid and advise him, just like Indian polity. Then you have provincial and local administration, wherein Rajyas were divided into Nadus, Nadus were divided into Sthalas, and Sthalas were divided into Gramas. So this is how the village or their planning of their city was done, or their geographical planning was done. Now talking about revenue administration, the chief source of income for these people is their land. Bhumi మీద నుంచి వచ్చే డబ్బు was the most important for them. And 1/6 of the gross produce was collected as revenue. 1/6 was collected as revenue. But sometimes, ఎప్పుడైనా problem ఉన్నప్పుడు, if there was drought or during war time, they raised it up to 50%. So 1/6 was raised up to 1/2. So this is the tax that they charged from people. Now, talking about military administration, they had a very huge army which consisted of cavalry, infantry, artillery, elephants, and they gurram మీద నడిచే వాళ్ళు సైనికులు, elephants. They had a huge cavalry, and they had a huge army also. And the horses which they had, they were considered of superior quality. So these people had Persian horses. Okay, then different grade of officers were available, and we also see that the post of Amatya was created during Vijayanagara Empire for the first time. If Amatya post has got nothing to do with military administration, but just gurtochi cheptanu meeku. In addition to the regular standing army, you had armies of vassal kings, governors, and feudatory levies assisted by the king whenever necessary. So king kuna personal army kaakunda, there was a huge army that was always at his disposal whenever he wanted. So that is military administration. Now, talking about caste system, you have 4 castes which existed in Vijayanagara society. That is the Chaturvarna system. Adi appadi nunche undedi. So క్షత్రియ అని ఏదైతే చూస్తామో, దట్ వాస్ ప్రామినెంట్లీ absent, బట్ దెన్ లేరు అని మనం చెప్పలేము. దెన్ యూ హ్యావ్ వైశ్యాస్. Okay, Vaishyas are the merchants who carried on trade and commerce. You have Shudras, who are agriculturists, and they also took up other professions like pottery, carpentry, itland professions they took up. Brahmins were the priests who were in charge of temple worship and also a bit of into teaching. And then you have polygamy, which was practiced by them, and their women observed sati. Polygamy ఉండేదండి అప్పట్లో, అంటే like one male can marry multiple females. And we also see that sati was available, అంటే మొగుడు చచ్చిపోతే wife was asked to, or అదే భర్త ఎందులో అయితే చచ్చిపోతాడో అదే ఫైర్ మీద even the wife was also pushed into it. That is sati. 2 important terms, gold coin was called as Varaha, and Villa port ఏదైతే ఉండేదో that was in Cannanore, which is in Malabar coast. Now both of these are important from prelims perspective. Okay, now when you talk of Vaishyas, Vaishyas were also called as Matika Ratalu. Okay, or you have Shudras who were called as Nalava Jati Varu. Nalava Jati Varu is called as Shudras. So దీని ఎటిమాలజీ అర్థం చేసుకున్నంటే it is basically people who are of darker skin texture, and Vaishyas is Matika Ratalu. So this is, I have no a clue of what this means, but then Nallava Jati Varu is basically people who are of a bit darker skin color. But then uh, this was based on 1300s understanding, which is almost 700 years, 7 centuries old from now. They don't actually stand true. Okay, it is all based on what you do, and it's only what you do is what comes along with you. All this is, yeah. Anyways, then you have religion. When you talk of religion, early Vijayanagara rulers were followers of Shaivism. శివుడి భక్తులండి వాళ్ళందరూ. అండ్ విరూపాక్ష వాజ్ దేర్ ఫ్యామిలీ గాడ్. దీని గురించి ఒకసారి ప్రిలిమ్స్ లో కూడా వచ్చింది. ఐఎమ్ నాట్ షూర్ ఏ ప్రిలిమ్స్ లో వచ్చిందో, బట్ దీని విరూపాక్ష గురించి యూ హ్యావ్ ఇట్ ఇన్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్రిలిమ్స్. లేటర్ దే కేమ్ అండర్ ద ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ ఆఫ్ వైష్ణవిజం యాజ్ వెల్. సో శ్రీ వైష్ణవిజం ఆఫ్ రామానుజ వాజ్ వెరీ హైలీ పాపులర్ అమాంగ్ దెమ్, అండ్ ద్వైత సిస్టమ్ ఆఫ్ మాధవ వాజ్ ఆల్సో ప్రాక్టీస్డ్. ఇప్పుడు ద్వైత సిస్టమ్ ఎలాగైతే మాధవాది ఉందో, అలాగే యూ హ్యావ్ Dvaita, Advaita, Dvaita, Dvaita. So you have different series of Dvaita. దేని ఫౌండర్ ఎవరో కూడా కమెంట్ సెక్షన్ లో రాయండి. సో Dvaita, 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 and then you have Advaita. ఇది ఇందులో నాగార్జున ఉన్నారు, నింబార్కాచార్య ఉన్నారు, మాధవాచార్య ఉన్నారు. సో ఏది ఎవరు చేశారు కమెంట్ సెక్షన్ లో చదువుకొని రాయండి. Then you have epics and Puranas, which are popular among the masses, and because they also served as means of the only means of education for women, so epics and Puranas were also pretty popular among the people of the slum. Then you have architecture by Krishna Devaraya. So ippudi varaku we understood their polity, we understood their religion, we understood their social structure and pattern. Now let us talk about their architecture. So before we go into the depth of architecture, let's just take an overview look at it. First of all, Krishna Devaraya rendu moodu chesarandi which are important. The first is Vithala Swami temple, and the second one is Hazara Ramaswamy temple. ఈ రెండు విజయనగరంలో ఉన్నాయి in Hampi. We have seen the image. This is how it looks. ఈ image దాంది. Okay. Then again coming back, he built the city of Nagalapuram in the memory of his wife, his queen, that is Nagala Devi. Then we'll just look at some books or some literature during this period of time, or during this period. Krishna Devaraya, who was also known as Andhra Bhoja, in a court law, he had 8 people. They were called as Ashtadiggajaz. Ashtadiggajaz is a term which is very important. Ashtadiggajaz, Ashtapradhan, వీటికి కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయ్యే ఛాన్సెస్ చాలా ఉంటాయి. అష్టప్రధాన్ ఎక్కడ ఉన్నారు, అష్టదిగ్గజాస్ ఎక్కడ ఉన్నారు, వీళ్ళకి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటో కూడా కమెంట్ సెక్షన్ లో ప్లీజ్ రాయండి. So Ashtadiggajaz are the 8 pillars he had in his court. They are Alasani Peddanna. He also is known as Andhra Kavita Pitamaha, and he wrote Manucharitram and Harikatha Saransam. Some other poets, very famous poets, are Nandi Timmanna, Maddaya, Durjati, Ayyalaraju, Ramabhadra. Then you have Pingali Suranna, and finally you have Tenali Rama, and you have Ramaraja Bhushan. Okay, so these are Pingali Suranna, Ramaraja Bhushan, Tenali. So these are some important poets in the court of Vijayanagara Empire, and we'll rasin the books kuda important. Please make a note of them and revise them. Vaatni meer oorkukane chadukunte kaani so many names, so many books, so many authors, it's very confusing. Now we'll just talk about the outline of history of Vijayanagara Empire. So as we know, this was founded in 1336 by Harihara and Bukka of Sangam dynasty. At that point of time, they were serving for the Kakatiya ruler of Warangal, which is Prataparudra II. Aina kinda they were serving, and they sent them to be ministers in Kampili. And Kampili ni eppudaithe Muhammad Tughlaq, he raided it because they gave shelter to their enemy Muslims. These 2 people, Harihara and Bukka, they formed their own territory. But then before they formed their own territory, Muhammad Tughlaq వీళ్ళని రైడ్ చేసినప్పుడు they were captured, they were imprisoned, and they were converted to Islam. వాళ్ళని తీసుకెళ్ళిపోయి వాళ్ళని ఇస్లాంలోకి మార్చేసి తర్వాత మళ్ళీ అదే ఏరియాకి పంపించి now they asked them to rule under Muslim fold. కానీ వీళ్ళు ఏం చేశారంటే దే కేమ్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్ అండ్ దెన్ దే రిటర్న్ బ్యాక్ టు ద హిందూ ఫోల్డ్ by the inspiration of Saint Vidyaranya. This name is important. And they proclaimed themselves as independent rulers of the new city, which was found on the bank of Tungabhadra river, which is known as Vijayanagara. Idi Vijayanagara history, and this is how Vijayanagara was found by Harihara and Bukta. So before they found it, వాళ్ళని ముఘల్స్ వచ్చారు, శుభ్రంగా తీసుకెళ్లిపోయారు, వాళ్ళని క్యాప్చర్ చేశారు, వాళ్ళు ముస్లిమ్స్ గా మార్చేశారు. దెన్ మళ్ళీ వాళ్ళు వెనక్కి వచ్చి హిందూస్ గా మారి విద్యారణ్య గారి దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి అండ్ దెన్ దే టుక్ this new city and they named it as Tungabhadra and they started the new dynasty, which is Vijayanagara Empire. So basically this story also tells us that not every time you get success in the first go. Appudu first time radu, appudu second time radu, third time radu, but then it doesn't mean we have to stop. We just have to keep trying. We just have to keep trying and keep trying. All right. So you just consider any story, any success stories, 100% లోంచి 0.01% కూడా ఫస్ట్ అటెంప్ట్ లో వచ్చిన వాళ్ళు ఉండరు. I'm not talking about UPSC exam, I'm talking about any success, or could be APPSC, could be acting, could be job, private job, anything. They all are not meant to be successful in their very first attempt. So yeah, don't lose courage, whatever be it. Just keep preparing yourselves for the best, right? So then the resolution of, so this way the Tungabhadra, on the bank of river Tungabhadra, Vijayanagara was founded. Now the dissolution of Hoysala kingdom enabled Harihar and Bukka to expand their empire. Okay, and by 1346, 10 years ago, Hoysalas also came into their hands. And by 1377, which is the next 20-30 years, the Sultanate of Madurai was also wiped off. And we see that the boundary slowly got spreading. Area ఏదైతే ఉందో అది వాళ్ళని పెంచుకుంటూ వెళ్ళారు. Now we'll talk about the Vijayanagara and Bahmani conflict. Bahmani conflict and Vijayanagara is a very famous conflict. వీళ్ళు ఎప్పుడు కొట్టుకుంటూనే ఉన్నారు. And that is because of three areas: Tungabhadra, Doab, Krishna Godavari Delta, and Marathwad country, Marathwad region basically. So Doab ante Doab, it's basically a Persian word. Do is two, Ab is water. So here you have, this is a land of two waters, so that's why it's called Doab. Okay, so the conflict was for three areas: Tungabhadra, Doab, Krishna Godavari Delta, and Marathwada country. And the conflict began when Bukka I attacked the fortress of Mutkal in Tungabhadra, Doab, and he invited the ire of Bahmani Sultan. And Bahmani Sultan, he was a pretty capable one. He was not a very weak guy. So after they raided and they won, Bahmani Sultan also raided them and he took it back from them. So వీళ్ళిద్దరు almost equal power లో ఉన్నారు కాబట్టి they concluded the war with a treaty. All right. Then we see that after a certain point of time, slowly, when Devaraya I came to the throne, slowly power తగ్గుతూ ఉంటుంది because he was lost to Feroz Shah. And whenever you lose a battle, you have to pay some war indemnity. దానివల్ల ఇంకా treasury weak అయిపోవడం, and the entire region was slowly starting to lose its power. At the same time, there was also confusion among the Reddy kingdom. Reddy Rajulu undevallu, there was kingdom with the Reddy guys. So then Devaraya, who took advantage of this situation, he entered into an alliance with Warangal. And then Devaraya plus Warangal, iddaru kalipi, they attacked Firoz Shah, and Malli, the entire area was taken back into their fold. After Devaraya I, it was Devaraya II who is considered to be the greatest ruler of Sangama dynasty. Not the entire Vijayanagara Empire, we're only talking about Sangama dynasty. This guy, what he did was he inducted Muslims into his army. Muslims kuda తీసుకున్నాడు ఆర్మీలోకి, and instead of dividing people on the basis of religion and caste, he asked them to learn archery from them. And this way he was able to unite two different religions back then only. And our time lo, when he suddenly died, Krishnadevaraya II, Devaraya II, there was sudden chaos and confusion. And after a lot of confusion, after a lot of bloody battles between their own relatives, we finally see that Saluva Narasimha was the person who got the throne, and he was the one who was able to restore internal peace and order. Then tarvata, slowly the dynasty kept going, and we see that it moved on to Tuluva dynasty, and Veera Narasimha. And Veera Narasimha Kellochindi, he was succeeded by his half brother Krishna Deva Raya. And so Veera Narasimha Tarvata, we see Krishna Deva Raya came into this throne of succession, and from here you have things which have changed forever. Vijayanagara Empire, this guy was one of the biggest assets. Again, Krishna Deva Raya Taravata, you have Ram Raja, who was the son-in-law of Krishna Deva Raya. But then in ikkadi nunchi, again, the power of Vijayanagara Empire slowly got dissolved. And that is how it got completed. Elaga, you have, when Ramaraja came into power, you have the battle of Rakshas Tangadi that was fought in 1565. And in battle, this guy, Ramaraja, was arrested, imprisoned, and he was immediately executed. Asalu, he didn't even wait for a second. Because Krishna Deva Raya impact chosen Tarvata, the Muslims were very eager to wipe off that dynasty forever. And that is why they immediately executed him, fearing that there might be another backlash from him. Next, what did Tuluva Krishna Deva Raya do? Okay, so Tuluva Krishna Deva Raya ఏం చేశారు అనేది, that is the next question. So why is he so famous? What is it that made him so famous? So firstly, he was able to ensure that the Bahmani forces stayed in their own territory. Secondly, first invasion of Bijapur kingdom ఈయనే చేశాడు, and at that point of time he also got the title that is Yavana Rajya Sthapanacharya. And because of అంటే ఎందుకు వచ్చింది అంటే he invaded the Raichur Doab and took Raichur fort and extended the empire up to Kanyakumari, including certain parts of Sri Lanka. So place ni wipe out చేసేసినందుకు he is called as Yavana Raja Sthapanacharya. Then he had a great friendship with Portuguese. He was also able to suppress the internal revolts of Umuttur and Penagonda. Akkada Umuttur and Penagonda lo basically local leaders madhyalo there was internal revolt. Danni suppress chesadu. Then Odisha, Telangana and Raja Mahendravaram, aa area lo kuda he was able to camp, and he was able to camp pretty successfully. Finally, he also went in for the second invasion of Bijapur, wherein this time he pushed across the river Krishna. So basically, ఎక్కడి వరకు అయితే వెళ్ళగలడో ఆ టాప్ లేపేసాడండి. He reached the maximum, the zenith part of the conquest of Vijayanagara Empire. So that is why his rule was considered the most important rule in his period. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you have enjoyed watching, and I also hope that this video has added some value to your preparation. All the very best, and in the upcoming video we will also see more history on the entire, we'll cover the entire ancient and medieval history of Andhra Pradesh. As of now, we have covered Chalukyas, and we have covered the first part, that is Satavahanas, and this is the thing which we have seen currently is Vijayanagara, and in the upcoming videos we'll also see a lot more. Okay, in the meanwhile, work hard, keep preparing, do not give up, do not get tired. It's only another matter of 30 to 40 days. And just remember, hard work is the only key to success. All the very best. I really hope that you clear your exam this time. Thanks a lot for watching. And if you have liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for regular updates.